When we gaze upon the natural world, we see breathtaking examples of cooperation. Ants march in perfect synchrony, and bees work as one for the good of their queen and colony. This has led some to wonder if humans too possess a form of hive mind. Yet as we observe our own species, it becomes wonderfully clear that this is not the case. Each human being is a universe of thoughts, feelings, and independent desires. We are not born with an innate collective consciousness that directs our every action. Instead, we are individuals, each navigating the world with a unique perspective and a personal will, a characteristic that is both our greatest strength and our most profound challenge. This individuality is a cornerstone of the human experience, deeply rooted in our evolutionary past. Unlike the rigid, genetically programmed behaviors of hive insects, human actions are guided by a complex interplay of learning, culture, reason, and emotion. We can choose to agree or disagree, to follow or to forge a new path. This capacity for independent thought allows for incredible innovation, art, and philosophy. It is the reason we have countless different languages, diverse cultures, and a rich tapestry of personal stories. Our minds are our own, and this separation is what makes our cooperation so remarkable when it does occur. The evidence of our individuality is all around us, in every debate, every work of art, and every personal ambition. While a honeybee's purpose is defined from birth by the needs of its hive, a human's purpose is a matter of personal discovery and societal influence. We build our identities through experience, forming our own beliefs and values over a lifetime. This journey of self-discovery is fundamentally at odds with the concept of a hive mind, which would demand conformity over personal expression. We are a species defined not by our uniformity, but by our splendid and often chaotic diversity of thought. Therefore, the very idea of a human hive mind dissolves under scrutiny. Our social structures are not built on instinctual, unthinking unity. They are built on negotiation, persuasion, and the conscious choice to come together. We form families, friendships, and communities not because we are biologically compelled to in a uniform way, but because we find connection, safety, and fulfillment in doing so. Every social bond is a testament to the individual's decision to connect with another, a far more intricate and fragile process than the unyielding mechanics of an insect colony. For the vast majority of our history, humans lived in small, nomadic groups. These were intimate societies, likely composed of a few dozen individuals bound by kinship and shared experience. In these close-knit bands, social order was maintained through direct relationships. Everyone knew everyone else, and cooperation was essential for survival against the harsh realities of the natural world. Trust was personal, and disputes were settled face to face. This was a world where social cohesion did not require a hive mind, but rather the powerful bonds of family and mutual dependency. Each person had a role, but it was a role understood through personal connection, not instinct. Then, a monumental shift occurred: the agricultural revolution. Humans began to settle down, cultivate crops, and domesticate animals. This led to a surplus of food, which in turn allowed for larger, permanent settlements. The small, wandering bands slowly gave way to villages, then towns, and eventually, the first cities. This transition was one of the most significant in our species' history. Suddenly, we were living alongside strangers, people with whom we shared no immediate family ties. The old ways of maintaining order through personal relationships were no longer sufficient for these growing, anonymous societies. As cities grew into sprawling metropolises and nations were formed, the scale of human interaction exploded. Today, millions of people live together in a single urban area, a scale of social living that would have been unimaginable to our ancestors. We navigate daily life surrounded by people we will never know personally. This presents a unique challenge. How do you ensure peace and cooperation among millions of independent minds, each with its own goals and desires? The old, intimate social fabric of the small group was stretched to its breaking point, and a new solution for social order was needed. This journey from small bands to massive countries highlights why a hive mind was never part of our evolutionary toolkit. Our success was built on adaptability and learning, not on rigid, instinctual programming. Each step of our societal evolution required new inventions, not just of tools but of social structures. We had to consciously design ways to manage our growing numbers. This need for deliberate, man-made systems of order is the clearest evidence that we were not equipped with a natural, built-in mechanism for mass cooperation. We had to create it ourselves. Let us look closely at a honeybee colony. It is a marvel of efficiency and selfless cooperation, a true superorganism. Each bee, from the drone to the worker, performs its duties without question or hesitation. Their roles are determined by genetics and chemical signals, their actions dictated by the collective needs of the hive. A worker bee will sacrifice its life to defend the colony without a second thought because, in a very real sense, the individual bee is secondary to the whole. This is the essence of a hive mind, a shared consciousness where the group's survival is the only objective, and individual identity is almost non-existent. Now contrast this with a human city. It is also a place of immense cooperation, but of a fundamentally different kind. A city thrives because millions of individuals, each pursuing their own interests, engage in a complex web of transactions and interactions. The baker bakes bread not out of an innate instinct to feed the city, but to earn a living for their family. The doctor heals the sick driven by a combination of empathy, professional training, and the need for income. Human society functions not through self-sacrifice, but through a system of mutual benefit, where individual pursuits inadvertently serve the greater good. The key difference lies in the source of order. In an ant colony, order is innate and biological. Ants communicate through pheromones, chemical trails that guide them to food or warn of danger. There is no debate, no legislation, no police force to enforce the rules. The rules are embedded in their very being. For humans, order is external and learned. We are not born knowing traffic laws or legal codes. We must be taught them, and we must consciously agree to follow them for society to function smoothly. Our cooperation is a fragile intellectual achievement, not a biological certainty. This distinction explains why human societies can be so dynamic and yet so prone to conflict. The individuality that fuels our creativity and progress also gives rise to dissent, crime, and war. An ant colony will never have a revolution or a civil rights movement. Its structure is fixed. Human societies, however, are constantly changing as we continuously debate, reform, and rebuild our rules and institutions. We are a species that must perpetually negotiate our own peace, a task that is both a burden and the source of our greatest societal triumphs. Faced with the challenge of living together in vast numbers without a natural hive mind, humanity had to innovate. We engineered a replacement systems of laws and shared governance. These are the invisible structures that allow our complex societies to function. Laws provide a common set of rules that apply to everyone, creating predictability and fairness in a world of strangers. They tell us what we can and cannot do, setting boundaries on our individual freedoms for the sake of collective security. From traffic signals to international treaties, these rules are the artificial framework that prevents societal collapse. This framework of order is built upon a foundation of shared goals and values. While we may not have a single unified consciousness, we can and do unite behind common purposes. The desire for safety, prosperity, and justice are powerful motivators that can bring millions of people together. We build nations around shared identities, cultures, and aspirations. These common goals act as a kind of social glue, encouraging cooperation and giving us a reason to follow the rules. They allow us to undertake monumental projects, from building pyramids to exploring space, that no single individual could ever accomplish alone. Enforcement is another critical component of this man-made order. Unlike bees, who instinctively follow the rules, humans can choose to break them. Therefore, we have developed institutions like police forces and court systems to ensure compliance. These systems are not perfect, but they serve as a necessary deterrent, reminding us that there are consequences for actions that harm the community. This external enforcement is a clear admission that our social harmony is not automatic. It must be actively managed and defended. It is a conscious, ongoing effort to maintain the peace that a hive mind would take for granted. In the end, our lack of a hive mind is what makes us uniquely human. We are not cogs in a machine, but individual architects of our collective destiny. Our ability to live together in relative peace is not a gift of nature, but one of our most remarkable inventions. It is an intricate dance of laws, shared goals, and personal choices. Thank you for your time and attention today. I encourage you to look at the societies we have built, to learn more about the delicate balance that sustains them, and to share this wonder with others.